princess.
Easy. Okay, it's really not that cold out, being that it was 6 degrees a couple days ago, 9. It's actually 0 at one point, but I wasn't outside for that. But, so it's kind of actually warm compared to what it was at. And, however, as you guys can imagine, the actual, like, the metal is still very cold to touch, so I might still have to put on some gloves. Okay, so, this tail is my least favorite out of all of my tails, because she is extremely hairy. While I'm fitting this britchin, I want this strap to not be too low on her. And so I actually have to hike it up above, because if I don't make sure that, like, up here it doesn't hang too low, it will take her out at the knees instead of letting her be able to move. We'll see how that is. Technically, this needs to be able to match her teammate, who today is going to be her mom. So this is Roxanne. I have 3 different combinations of mother-daughters on the farm. Not all riding or driving. But this one's Roxanne. Her mom's name is Raina. And she's going to go out for a sleigh ride together. So for today's sake, I'm not going on a 1-horse open sleigh. I'm going to go on a 2, so I need to grab another one. Bye-bye. This little thing made quite the scene in my most recent videos. With a lot of girls named Raina. They said they had never heard of a horse being named the same thing as them. So they absolutely love that. So this is Raina. She is 8 years old. She is Roxanne's mother. She is adorable, a little gentle, a little reactive, but that's okay. She knows what's coming. There we go. Good girl. is her harness. So I know this one is fitted for her, besides the fact she has gained a little bit of winter weight. So the belly band, which is not a girth, so it's not supposed to be tight, tends to be a little tight on her, and it's not supposed to be. But let's get that. Voila. Easy, boys. Jesus, eat some nuts. We got the dog and that's Hey. Grab my Mrs. gloves. Hello, welcome. Let's see any. I'm going to be hooking to a sleigh today. She is really, really nice for a sleigh. Which means I can't forget my bells. Start at the bottom. So, when you pull out your sleigh bells, it's important to put them on the horse that is the hottest. Meaning, not temperature-wise, but like the most jumpy, the most jittery, and that's definitely going to be this mare. She has a tendency to trot for a lot of things instead of walking. Sorry about that, guys. A little difficult to do everything at once. All right. Here's our dear sweet Ray Ray and her daughter Roxanne. Her daughter is 2, coming 3, and she is 8. So, their bridles are all marked, but I do personally know what each one is in. What else? There she is. Not gonna lie, I'm not sure if this is the best one to have Roxanne in. This bit is one that I really want to fall in love with. In our draft horse world, this is called a snaffle. The problem is with, let's say, this regular bit, when I lift on this side, you guys see how that other side is moving? All right, let me lift on the far side, and you can see there's a lot of shit in the way. Just take everything else out. When you lift on this side, that side at least slightly comes up too. Now, the problem is when I lift on this side of the bit that I have Roxanne in, this is a really good bit to start them in. My problem is if I go to lift on this side, you guys see how that side never fires. It never indicates that it's also going. I really thought that this was going to be a cool, situation. But then it turned out that it actually makes it very hard for them to understand what you're trying to ask for them. So like what I thought originally was gonna be like really cool and nice and gentle on them turned out to be a little confusing. It's okay to start them in, but it does have that. So no, I would have to say that bells on a horse tend to make them a little jumpier. I would not say that it calms them down. The reason you put the bells on the hotter horse is what we call it, the term, the horse that's like got a little more spice to it, is they jingle them the most. And the point of bells is actually to hear the sleigh coming. I will be making a really nice long video of the sleigh ride, and you guys can hear how silent it can be. So while it's absolutely quiet, you can come across a lot of things that you don't want to, whether it be livestock, other sleighs, and sleighs can't go in reverse. So if you come across another sleigh while you're out on yours and you run into each other, you have to completely unhook, unharness, pull the sleighs to the side, away from each other. It's a fucking disaster. So the reason for the bells is to actually be heard. Now back in the day, it would be very common. There's a couple different ways that you would acquire your bells. And some of them would be the fact that your neighbors would give them to you. So a well-likable person, you know, if you had a lot of dinner parties and you would invite people over, you would get personal bells. Another way is that if you were hauling a massive wagon, you know, if you had like 4 horses coming, a whole carriage of people were really decking the halls that night, you would want to put on the most amount of bells you could, because you'd be the largest problem to run into. So you'd base the number of bells off of that. So over the years, I have learned my favorite set of bells are already on my other sleigh. I got them at an insane deal at a auction. They are equivalent to like a semi or a foghorn. They are a massive amount of bells for it, what I have for teens hooked up. I don't really mind though, because they're really pretty and it's just a little ridiculous. So I did not do Freiburg Fair this year. Okay. I'm going to put your bridle. All right. I believe, I can't really remember. Kind of feel like a piece of shit because I can't remember. I think this is Roxanne's first time getting hooked to the sleigh. She has pulled several other things. I imagine just like when I first trained, my first Clydesdale that I personally trained was her brother. I think I dragged some sleds with her last year. Maybe not. You were only 1. So probably not. I would have done that when you were 2, which is now. So maybe I haven't. Well, you made me work for it, but you were a good girl. Good job. You did it. I know that there's some people who are going to say in the comments that 2 is too young. However, this is, first off, my horse, not yours. But second off, I don't like to go hard on them, but I do enjoy making it so that way they know their job right off. We're having these conversations when they are, you can physically see she is smaller than when she is full-sized. It would be like trying to teach a 20-year-old things in school. There's just no point of making it harder. We send them to school as kindergartners. You don't teach them algebra the first year of school. You give it some time. You study the basics. You get going up from there. But I like to start them. So she kind of started probably last year. I don't know. At this point, they're all kind of flowing together. I have trained fucking know how many. You're the only thing that's come to me broke. She's like, yeah. Thanks, though. Oh, God. So this is a mother-daughter duo. This is Roxanne. This is Raina. They are 1 out of 3 of the combos of mother-daughters I have on the farm. One mother-daughter duo on the farm. Both of them are pregnant with the same stud. And I'm really hoping that they make another set. So it would be really cool if they were having fillies. I personally love working with mares over geldings. And I don't need another stud on the farm. So it would have to be gelded. But let's get you guys hooked up. Whoop. What's up, Ty? Whoop. So I used to think that this mare, her mother, who I said is the only one who's come here untrained, I used to think that she might have gotten abused in the past because of how jumpy she was. Then I got to know her daughter. As you guys just saw, I did the same thing on both sides, and then this mare suddenly started jumping. So I kind of discovered that is not what has happened. In fact, Roxanne and Raina are just what I call hot. They have a tendency to overreact, which is fine. I don't mind that because I'm pretty calm when it comes to working with them. And we just kind of work through that. But I have not gone on Christmas parades with them. We have delivered Santa before. Ugh. How do people ever live with these things? Okay. You ready? Let's go. Well, you're coming 3, so I have no idea if I small part of me thinks that I might have trained her last year to this, but I really can't remember. Sadly, as I have to point out all the time, and as Shores last night pointed out, I don't have a lot of service all over the farm, so I actually have to hang up at this point. And you guys can look out for the videos that I will be posting about this. But thank you for anybody who's given a follow, like, etc., etc. If you go to my OnlyFans, you guys can go ahead and start supporting this and see more of what you do enjoy. And thank you so much for being here. Wish me luck with hooking this one for the first time. You ready, baby?